This is breaking news.
And good afternoon. This is Dan Rice, live in Chopper 2 with breaking news in Jersey City. You can see a 5-alarm fire that is burning just off of the New Jersey Turnpike. This is going to be over by Caven Point Avenue, off of Garfield Avenue. It appears to be a recycling center that has caught fire. We'll zoom in with the camera here. You're going to see multiple fires, not only in the building but around the building as well. We'll zoom over here to the left side, and you can see a pile of recyclables and pallets that are on fire. And this is a scene for pretty much the entire area around this building here. We'll come over to the right side of the screen, and you can see smoke still coming out of the building itself. Now, at this point, there is no word on what the cause of this fire is, but you can see Jersey City here trying to tackle this 5-alarm fire, excuse me. But the fire is big enough that they're actually calling for mutual aid, which is assistance from other towns in and around the Jersey City area. And you can see them getting the water onto this fire. But the problem is there are reports of low water pressure as well. So that's one of the problems we're having with this fire. But this is a far-reaching fire here. What I mean by that, we'll bring the camera back out, and what you're going to notice is a lot of the brush that's in the area of that recycling plant has also caught fire, to the point where on the top of your screen, that is the Hudson Bergen light rail. They are skipping at least one station, one stop in around this area. But let me come back in with the camera a little bit there, and you're going to see quite a bit of the brush that is on fire around the railroad tracks, to the point that it's actually going up by the New Jersey Turnpike. That's the Hudson County extension that takes you from the main line of the Turnpike out to the Holland Tunnel and vice versa. That's the 14C toll plaza on the top of your screen, and you can see that smoke. At one point, it was covering the entire portion of the Turnpike in this area, but the smoke has lessened a tiny bit there, and you can see the traffic is still going at a slow rate around here. So there are multiple issues for the firefighters here in Jersey City. That's why it's at 5 alarms. That's why they're calling for the mutual aid. We'll come back in here, and you can see this one area of brush. So far, the firefighters have not been able to reach it, so quite a bit of that brush catching on fire. And there has been a fire warning for the New Jersey area through about 8 o'clock tonight from the National Weather Service because of the dry conditions, because it is a bit windy out here today. They did say there was an elevated risk for brush fires, and you are seeing it right there. As a matter of fact, we do see one fire truck here outside of the toll plaza here. I believe that's 14B right down there. And you can see the firefighters going up to the railroad tracks here. That's a freight line that they're standing by in that area, and they're watching that fire burn. They have to make sure that there are no trains running on the tracks before they bring the hoses out over the rails. So you can see firefighters are ready to attack that fire as soon as they can. But let's bring you back to the initial source of everything over here by Caven Point Avenue. We'll come back in with the camera there, and you can still see quite a smoky scene down there. Let's go back over here to Caven Point Avenue, and you can see there's numerous fire trucks lined up here on the street. They have the tower ladders up. They're trying to get it from the up above the fire, trying to attack it from inside the yard. And we'll come back in here, and you can see the different areas are trying to get in this one particular pile of debris still on fire. But look at the way they're trying to fight that. You can see the smoke going over the water stream, but as they're trying to shoot the water, that wind has enough power in it, enough energy, that it's actually pushing it away from the fire. So the water not quite making it to where you see those flames coming up by the roof line. So a very difficult situation for firefighters here in Jersey City, and we have been watching this one stack over here where, again, you still see the way that wind is blowing, the way that the water is hitting those piles of debris, just not having the full effect that the firefighters were hoping for. So they definitely have their hands full out here. Again, no word on the cause of this fire. We'll bring the camera out here for a second and give you the big picture of what is happening here. On the bottom side of your picture there, you can see the train tracks for the Bergen light rail. No trains have come through the area since we've been over here. We got here about 10-15 minutes ago, and we haven't seen any trains go by this area yet. Difficult situation for the firefighters as they try to tackle this 5-alarm fire in Jersey City. Okay, thank you, Katie, for that. And we're just getting word from the newsroom there, talking to our weather team at CBS 2, and they are letting us know that the winds that we're talking about here, they are gusting to at least 30 miles per hour. Combine that with low humidity and dry conditions in the area, that is why you're seeing some of the difficulties we're having with not only fighting the fire, but those brush fires that are breaking out here. So we'll come back out here and we'll show you what our CBS 2 weather team is talking about. We'll come over here by the train tracks again, and you can see that smoke pouring off of the brush here. And like I said, we'll repeat it one more time. They're talking about the low humidity in the area. Combine that with the dry conditions and all that brush, and a 30 mile per hour plus gust spread that's out here right now. And that does not help the cause for the firefighters out here. That's why you see these brush fires that are breaking out all around the train tracks and the other areas. Matter of fact, you can see the flames there picking up, and you can kind of get a feel that happens when the wind picks up through the area and ignites more of the brush that those flames and the embers are picking up here. Let me bring the camera back over here to the right a little bit, and again, you can kind of get a better picture of what we were talking about before, that as that wind picks up and that smoke intensifies, it comes up over the New Jersey Turnpike, and again, that's the Hudson Bay Extension, I-78. That goes back and forth to the Holland Tunnel, and you can see that traffic going through here. And let's bring the camera out a little bit more. Hopefully they're able to contain the fire to the north side of the turnpike, but we'll kind of give you an idea over here, not far away from there. Far enough, it's a little bit behind our skid, but that's the Liberty Science Center. So you have the road that goes out to Liberty Science Center out there. It's a little hard to see behind our skid, but that's what they're trying to protect a little bit, is to make sure this fire doesn't jump. And unfortunately, it's caught at the corner of my eye. You can see there is a small brush fire that actually has started over here on the other side of the turnpike. So a tough situation for the firefighters trying to get a handle on everything. Again, I believe that's going to be just to the south of the Liberty Science Center. Hey, Eric, can we move the skid a little bit there so I can just show? Yeah, that's okay. That's our pilot I'm talking to, folks. And you can see I'm going to move the skid to the helicopter. There is a Liberty Science Center. And you can see that one little piece of brush fire that is broken out now just to the south of the Science Center. So that is the difficulty that these firefighters are facing right now. Because that wind, that smoke does carry some of the embers. You can see over here they are trying to wet down some of the brush that's over here, and it looks like a little bit of a fire even is broken out on this side of the turnpike. And again, if you are just joining us here on CBS News New York, where we're looking at are multiple fires that have broken out in the Jersey City area. This is by Caven Point. That's Caven Point Avenue on the top of your screen. You can see the Jersey City Fire Department doing their best to get a handle on a fire that broke out in what appears to be a recycling center. And you can see they have multiple ladders in use trying to get it from above. They're trying to get it from the sides here as well. And you can see several units on the ground as well now, getting a better handle on some of that fire over here. You can see these different areas where they have these recyclables that have caught fire. What we've been noting is the way the wind has been carrying the smoke and the embers and the water even, because you can see the firefighters on the left side of your screen as they fight with the wind to their back. You can see that water getting onto the piles of debris, but when they get it from a different angle, you can kind of see how the wind is carrying some of that water off of the fire. And that wind, which we're being told by our CBS 2 weather team, is gusting to at least 30 miles per hour, is picking that smoke up and carrying it out towards the east a bit. So that's why they're having a hard time getting a handle on all the pockets of fire that they're trying to fight down here. But because of that wind and the dry conditions and the low humidity, we are seeing different brush fires break out through the area. This is all happening right near the Hudson-Bergen light rail system. And those are those tracks that you're going to see right over here on the top of your screen. You'll see the train shed over there. So we have the light rail running with some delays and some stops that are being skipped because of the fire down here. And you do see that smoke over here by a freight line that is just carrying out towards the east. As we bring the camera back over, we can see that smoke going over the New Jersey Turnpike's Hudson Bay Extension. This is by 14C and 14B. And as they continue to fight the fire by the turnpike, you're going to see the Liberty Science Center come into view down here, and that smoke that's coming out of another piece of brush that's down here to the south side of the main road that goes out to the Science Center. And at this point, firefighters at probably don't see this smoke as they concentrate on the fire that's up by the turnpike and by that recycling plant. As we come back around with the camera, we'll show you that the turnpike itself, for people who may be commuting through the area, the 78 leg of it is so far moving through here. It's just, again, you gotta keep caution if you're going out to the Holland Tunnel to or from it. You will be driving through the smoke, and I would assume with the way that this smoke is blowing, you may smell it as far over as in Brooklyn. So if you're in Brooklyn and you notice that smell, that's probably from the fire over here in Jersey City. Again, we'll bring the camera back down here. No word yet on the cause of the fire, what ignited everything over here by this plant, but we are seeing the effects of it now. And again, those firefighters doing their best to get a handle on the situation down here. Again, this is a 5-alarm fire, big enough that Jersey City is calling for mutual aid, which is they're looking for assistance from the towns surrounding Jersey City to send more firefighters over here to help try to get a handle on this fire. The problem is many pockets of fire have broken out around that recycling plant, so they need assistance there with the low water pressure in the area as well, not helping, and the wind that's blowing some of the embers and the smoke. And we can come down here, that's Garfield Avenue, off to the left side of your screen, and over here by the train tracks. Again, those are the freight line tracks. You can see another large brush fire that is broken out here. See how that if you look at it close enough into that fire, you can kind of see when the wind is coming through there, it kind of swirls the flames a little bit as it pushes that fire along those tracks. And as that smoke drifts away from that fire, some of the embers from that dry brush get carried up into that smoke, and it seems to be following along the railroad tracks there. And that's why as we go down the tracks, you'll see other pockets of fire that have broken out. And that's the danger with a situation like this. The dry conditions, the low humidity, and that wind spreads that fire to places that you really don't want to see it spread to, and that's why it's making its way down those train tracks and getting over here by the New Jersey Turnpike. And again, a lot of that is just the smoke covering the roadway there, so obviously motorists should use caution going through the area. And it looks like on the other side, by the eastbound lanes, that brush fire now spreading along the roadbed there as well. We'll zoom in with the camera to give you a look at that. Let's come back out with the camera here and give you the wide view. That roadway you see going on the south side of the turnpike, in your picture at least, that's Phillips Street. That's the main road that takes you out towards the Liberty Science Center. So of course the firefighters want to do all they can to keep that fire from reaching over by the Science Center. And again, we see down here in the brush still that other small fire that we had seen burning down here as well. Firefighters have not made their way down to this section yet, but right now that fire doesn't seem to be spreading much more than where it's been for the last 5 minutes since we first spotted it. Again, we're going to keep bringing the picture back and forth here for you and try to give you both a look at where the fire has spread to and the origin of that fire, which again is this recycling plant over here. That's Garfield Avenue, if you're familiar with the area, that overpass to the left side of the screen. On the right side where you see the fire trucks lined up, that's Caven Point Avenue. And you can see that reddish orange building towards the top of your screen. That appears to be a production studio. Then over here you can see where that recycling plant is and the various pockets of fire that have broken out throughout the yard where the recycling is kept. Kind of an odd glow to that pile down there. It almost gives you that feeling of like a campfire, where you'd see the flames lit and the embers, the ashen pile below a campfire. It kind of has that look to it, but that fire has spread to several areas throughout the yard here where they were keeping what appears to be the recycling material that they crushed and cubed, and you see some wooden pallets over here behind that smoke that's going through your video at the moment. And again, we can see the building down over here where the recycling plant is, and we've seen the firefighters doing their best to try to get everything under control down here. But again, this is a 5-alarm fire here in Jersey City, just off of the Newark Bay extension, the Hudson County extension of the New Jersey Turnpike. Let me zoom in with the camera a little bit more, and you can see more of those flames that are coming through those piles of recyclables. And we see the firefighters through the smoke working in from the ground. We see the firefighters up in the tower ladders trying to get an overhead perch to be able to try to get what they can extinguish from this fire. No word yet on any injuries, if there was anybody in the building at the time of the fire. We have not received any reports yet of any injuries down there. And again, no confirmation on how the fire started. And it appears now they've shut off Garfield Avenue over here. We had seen motorists that were parking on the bridge and watching the fire burn. So they have moved everybody off of the bridge at this point. And we got the fire truck on the bridge and the firefighters looking over the edge there. And you can see where we saw that brush fire along these train tracks burning a few minutes ago. There's just a small flame down there, and most of that brush has pretty much burnt itself out at this point. And sometimes that's all the firefighters can do, is let this burn itself out. Once the fuel source is removed, the fire just tends to become a smoky pile of blackened earth at that point. And again, we'll come down here and we see another pile of brush that is on fire. And there is fencing along this area as well. That's that wall you see that the fire is burning there. The brush goes up along that fence, and the fire catches that and gives you that wall of flame there. And again, this is a freight line that we're looking at right over here. Just towards the top of your picture, you'll see another set of train tracks where that fire truck is parked, and that is the Hudson Bergen light rail. And right now we are seeing service disruptions because of the fires over here. There is at least one station that's being skipped, and again, since we've been here, we have not seen any service running on this section of the Hudson Bergen light rail. And you can see part of the reason why is you see numerous fire hoses that are draped over those rails as they're trying to get a handle on the brush that is burning near the light rail line. And you can see the firefighters also walking the tracks over here, trying to get a different angle on the firefighting techniques there as they try to attack that fire. And that's actually a large set of, or a large area of brush that's now on fire right here. We'll zoom in on that for a second. And of course, as we watch that brush burn, and you see them trying to get the water over to that area, our CBS 2 weather team letting us know that that wind you see that's blowing the smoke right now, that is wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour, even greater at times at 30 miles per hour. And they're just letting us know that it's the low humidity in the air combined with the dry conditions that is causing this problem with the brush that's catching fire. You see a little bit of a fire burning over here. Of course, we thank the folks in the weather office for that. And we'll bring the camera over more. And thank you, Brian, for that. Again, talking to our CBS 2 news desk. And we're going to watch that smoke come over the New Jersey Turnpike. And at some point, you have to wonder if the Turnpike Authority may shut off this portion of the roadway there. Travel conditions a little hampered here by that smoke that is burning, that's crossing over the New Jersey Turnpike. And we can see firefighters here trying to get some of the brush that has been ignited on this side of the turnpike as well. That's Phillips Street, where you see the fire apparatus moving around there, and that will take you out to the Liberty Science Center. And you can see that smoke now reaching over to the Science Center, kind of obscuring it a bit. Just push in with the camera there, and you can see how the smoke is going over the Science Center. So obviously that's a concern for the firefighters, trying to keep this from reaching out that far. But again, we do see some of that brush still burning down here. This is more towards the Hudson Riverside. So we watch there, and of course the bigger concern right now is making sure it doesn't reach the Science Center. Eric, I'm going to bother you one more time and ask you if we can just kick the skid out of the way so we can look by the Science Center. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah. Then we look over here and just going to look around the property because, again, we just want to make sure that there are not any fires that are reaching over here by the Science Center. Just look around here with the camera for a second, everybody. Watching along here on our streaming service, CBS News New York. And we don't see any fire by the Science Center yet, so that's the good news there, and we hope it stays that way. But obviously quite a bit of concern for the whole area down here. So again, we'll recap the situation here in Jersey City. What you've been watching here, what you are watching right now, is Jersey City trying to fight a 5-alarm fire that appears to have been broken out by a recycling center over here by Caven Point Avenue, just off the New Jersey Turnpike. We can see several pockets of fire that have been burning in the yard that surrounds that recycling center. Firefighters doing their best to get a handle on the situation over here, but unfortunately they are also battling low water pressure. So that's making it harder for them to fight that fire. You can see they brought in heavy equipment now to try to move some of the piles of debris down there to be able to get at the source of those fires. But again, they are calling for mutual aid, which is assistance from other cities around Jersey City to be able to get this fire under control. But with the help from our CBS 2 weather team, we're being told that the wind is up to 30 miles per hour, so that's carrying some of the embers into some of the brush, and there's low humidity and dry conditions all create these different situations with the brush fires that we're seeing around the train tracks. So there is some service suspension on the Hudson Bergen light rail. That's an issue for the area now, and of course that smoke going over the New Jersey Turnpike and some of the brush fires spreading out towards the Liberty Science Center. So we're keeping an eye on all this for you, and of course we're going to wrap up our coverage here in a few minutes, or in a few seconds actually, but of course we will have more of this for you live on CBS 2 News at 5 with Maurice Dubois, Christine Johnson, where we'll keep an eye on the situation over here and keep you updated both on CBS 2 News and here on CBS News New York. Reporting live in Chopper 2, I'm Dan Rice.
This has been breaking news.